Welcome back to the Course Creation Incubator. I'm Gina Onativia, online course coach consultant, and as always, I'm here to get you fired up about your course creation, and I'm also here to help you build your audience so you can get raving fan course buyers. Now, there's no one better to help you build that audience with amazing content than my friend Lisa Rigoli. I first met Lisa when we collaborated on a Done For You course a few years ago. Then we got to work together on her binge-worthy content class last year and had a total blast. From then on, I've seen her as a content collaborator that I recommend to all of my course creators because her methods work. She's going to walk through a process to help you generate a raving fan buying audience. Okay, let's get to it. Welcome, Lisa, to the Course Creation Incubator podcast. I am so excited to have you here. I feel like you are the content expert.
Oh, why, thank you. I'm excited to be here and just to dive into this topic.
Awesome. So I wanted to have you on because I get a lot of questions from my course creators about how do I build my audience in a way with my content that makes sense, right? That I'm adding value, that I'm really getting the customers or the students that I want. And I know you're going to walk through kind of a 3-step framework for us to get there. So I think the first piece is about knowing our person, right? And really drilling down on who we're serving. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Absolutely. When I first started out with really showing up on Instagram more, I heard this phrase said often, like, if you speak to everyone, you're speaking to no one. And it honestly reigns really true, especially if you're just starting out, even if you've been in the business for a really long time. You want to make sure that you have a specific person that you're speaking to. I want you to get so intimate with this person that you know their age, you know their name, you know kind of what they look like. So that way you're truly, when you're creating content, you're speaking to this person. So that way when they're scrolling on Instagram and they stumble on your post, they're going to be like, oh my gosh, does Gina have like a hidden camera in my house? Because I feel like she wrote this post just for me.
Okay, I love that. And you talk about creating something called an ideal client profile. So, really, can you tell us how you build that out or how you recommend we build that out?
Absolutely. I believe that you should be doing this from a 3-step approach. What are their demographics? So, really honing in on their age, their occupation, even going to a place of giving them a name. Their psychographics, I want you to really get a feel of what are their interests. Like, for example, do they like reality TV shows? And then 3, pinpointing their problem, their limiting belief, and desire. So I know that's a lot of information to get all at once, but again, just demographics, psychographics, and pinpointing their ultimate problem. If you do that, it's going to allow you to really think through, who am I creating this content for? How do I look for this person on Instagram or on any social media platform? So that way I am truly connecting with them. So that way, again, they feel like, how did she know about my reality TV show? Like, that's my thing. That's my jam too. How did she know my problem? I feel like only I was struggling with that, but I feel like she knows exactly what's going on in my world.
Okay, I love that. And I love drilling down to the idea of what TV show are they totally obsessed with right now. If I don't have that kind of information, I always tell my course creators, get on phone calls, do the interviews, do surveys, check out Facebook groups. Do you have any tips to help them really hone in on knowing their person to that level that you're talking about right now?
Yeah. And I'm going to answer it in 2 quick ways. One, chances are your profile is an earlier version of you. So if you
Okay.
feel as though when you're creating your profile and you're like, oh my gosh, this is really like just me, lean into that. Like, hands down, lean into that piece. Or on the flip side, if you're like, hey, it's not an earlier version of me, chances are you know someone within your world, whether it's a best friend, a family member, a coworker that truly fits this profile. Think about them. So even if you're not getting on the phone with that coworker or that family member or that friend, think about, hey, what are some of the things that I believe are their interests and how they spend their time from a psychographics. Lean into, what do you think their number one problem is? What's keeping them up at night? And that's going to help you for now just create the shell of who this person is until you start building a business, until you start getting people coming in asking questions. Then your profile can morph accordingly. So that way you feel really confident with who you're speaking to.
Okay, one of the things that I love about what you're saying right now is that it will morph, right? It's an evolution of this profile. So I don't need to nail it from the start. Is that what I'm hearing?
Hands down. I
Okay.
think we psych ourselves up that we have to have this perfect profile. No, that's why I'm saying lean in if it's an earlier version of you or
Yep.
someone you know until you get your business off the ground. Then you can start surveying past clients and current clients and all that kind of good stuff.
Okay. Awesome. So absolutely start somewhere, get as deep as you can, and then it will evolve as you go. All right, let's get on to the second step here, the content that addresses a pain point. And we've worked on 2 courses together now, which I love working with you on courses, you know that. And talk to me about identifying content pillars. What is that about?
So I'm sure you agree with this. I think the online space is really saturated, regardless of what industry you're in. And on
Yes,
top of it, so it's
absolutely.
so it's hard to stand out. And then on top of it, with this, just 2020 has been such a unique year when you look at all the different things that have happened, that more people are coming online. And you want to make sure that you're just standing out, that you are making sure that your brand is so hella clear that when someone comes to your handle, they know I'm going to get this information. So I coined this content pillar from a place of 3 tiers. Tier number one is, what are you passionate about? Really create a pillar that's not just like a fluffy passion. It's a passion that's tied to what you're offering your audience. It's the work that you love. It's the work that you're like, I can't believe people pay me to do this pillar. The second pillar is the proficiency pillar. So this is what you're skilled at. This is something that you tie a measurement back to, that you create content specifically around this. And then the third pillar is your problem pillar. So what is the number one problem that your ideal followers are facing right now, that you have the ultimate solution? How do you create content around that? When you have those 3 pillars and you only focus on those 3 pillars, and honestly, let's just focus on them for the first 90 days, you're going to be able to build your authority, because again, people are going to come to your account to say, I know that if I go to Lisa's account, I'm going to learn about connections online. When I go to Lisa's account, I'm going to know about how to grow my Instagram growth. When I go on Lisa's account, I'm going to know about time management. I want to be known for those things, so I only speak to those 3 things. Do the same thing, and it's going to help you stand out in a very saturated market, and it's going to be gold.
Okay, I love what you're saying about these 3 content pillars. Can you give me another example of this in play for an entrepreneur?
Absolutely. So let me introduce you my client, Kat. She is an empowerment coach. So she is trying to build her business while juggling a demanding day job to speak to other corporate women who want to continue climbing the corporate ladder. What she's passionate about is creating development plans. What she's proficient in is goal setting. And the problem that she's solving for is confidence. So when you go to her handle, you're going to hear things about development, and you're going to read things about development. You're going to hear her IG stories about goal setting, as well as read her posts about goal setting and confidence. Like, those are the 3 things that she continuously has on her account on repeat. So she's standing out, and other corporate women are like, oh, if I need advice around how to continue to climb the corporate ladder, Kat's my girl.
And she stays in that lane, right? She doesn't veer off and try to do content about other things. Like, she knows that's her focus, right?
Correct.
Okay.
So
So is that kind of her niche, would you consider?
it is her niche, and it's her way. I guess niche. I always
Niche,
wonder
niche.
how,
I
what's the right way.
True story. I was at a Tony Robbins shoot once, and we brought up niche versus niche. So that argument goes way, way back. But the point is that she does she kind of have her own corner with she's working on,
she
growing.
she is, from truly a content perspective. So that way she's not confusing her audience and talking about, let's just use a growth mindset as an example, because that's like a common
Sure.
um, pillar, if you will, within that space. She doesn't want to be known for that right now. She just wants to be known for, how do you develop yourself in the corporate world? How do you create goals around that? And how do I help you with confidence? Her speaking to those 3 things helps people say, hey, I can come to her for that. And it also helps Kat put on almost a tunnel vision, if you will, on how she's going to create her content. So many times we get so overwhelmed with creating content because we're trying to speak to all the things. But when you hone in on 3 specific things, and 3 things with a purpose, it helps you stand out differently.
Yes. Yes, I love that. And I think course
Okay,
creators
good.
can really, I know, I think they really will respond to that. And you and I could do a 2 hour workshop about this, right, Lisa? So I'm always talking about you and these content pillars. And what I love about it inside the course is that you then drill down and teach us how to make these into posts, how to make it come alive. Like it's not just here are your 3 pillars that you're going to focus on. You show us step by step how to make it work for whatever platform you're on. So you are amazing with that. I know if I could just give you a shout out real quick on that.
Well, I appreciate that. And to your point, within that course, there's actually several examples. I give 4 different industries to show how that passion, proficiency, and problem can come to life. So that way you can see different iterations of it. So you know what those 3 pillars should be for you.
Okay. Okay. I love that. And then before I move on to the third step, how does this then leave us to course sales in your master opinion, Lisa? How does working on these pillars then translate to buyers?
So, what I love about this is that I'm giving my audience, and if you implement this, you're giving your audience a taste of what your course is all about. Because
Perfect.
ultimately, the 3 pillars that you're talking about are also going to funnel into your course, just like how mine do. And it's like I'm
Yep.
already prepping my audience to become great students because they've already heard about some of the things that are in the course. So that it's kind of that question of, or not question, but the phrase of give your best content away for free.
Yep.
That's literally what I'm doing with my content pillars. So that way, again, when they come into my course, they're like, I know exactly where all this terminology, I've been here. This feels familiar. Now I'm able to hit the ground running even faster because I know of these terms, I know of this process.
Okay. And I think you nailed it here when you said you're going to prep your audience to become great students. That's exactly what we need to do with our content. I think that's where some course creators fail, in fact, or don't realize like that's the outcome for your content, right? It's content marketing. We're prepping our folks who consume our content to become future buyers.
Hands down. Again, it's all about just being really intentional with what you're putting out there and not doing extra work. Everything that you're doing is also becoming the market research that you need in order to make this course spicy and on fire in all ways because this is for your audience.
Exactly. And that's another podcast for the future. You are awesome at leveraging your content and repurposing it, but I'll have to bring you back for that. Let's go on to the third step. And this step I want to talk about because oftentimes my course creators spread themselves too thin. In terms of what platforms that they need to work on or master. I had a happy hour for our accelerator class last night, and there was a big debate. Should I be on YouTube? Should I do a podcast? Should I do a video series? What's the right path? And then everyone wants to do everything, right? So what's the secret here in mastering a platform or focusing on a platform?
It's picking one and just sticking with it. There are so many unique things about each platform that it's at times can feel so overwhelming to be on top of it. I can't imagine trying to manage more than just Instagram. And I'll use
Yeah.
TikTok as a great example. So
Okay.
when TikTok rolled out, it was like everyone, I think people are still raving about TikTok, but everyone's like, are you joining it? And I was like, I don't know if I even have the bandwidth to figure out how I'm going to create these creative videos on a new platform on top of my day job, being 8 to 9 months pregnant,
Uh,
running after my one. Like there was just so many things I was doing. I was like, it's impossible. Now look, Reels is now on Instagram, which is equivalent to TikTok.
right.
So to me, it was just smarter to stay with one platform because now it's easier for me to learn about Reels and not feel like, oh, I can't do Reels just yet because I'm still trying to master TikTok while running my Instagram account. So just stick one. It's kind of that if you're a master of all trades, or it's what's this? I just lost my train of thought there.
Master
A jack of all trades, a
trades.
master to none.
There you go.
So
We
if
worked
you're a
it out
jack of all
together.
trades, there you go, exactly. So if you're trying to manage it all, you're not going to master any of them. So just pick one, and I promise you, it's going to pay back tenfold because you're going to know exactly how to leverage the features to really grow your authority and your audience all at once.
what about this debate about what's the best platform for me? So we talk about knowing your audience, where they're at, and like going back to step one, right? And knowing your ideal client. How do you know what's really the best platform for you to really stick with and grow?
You just took the words right out of my mouth. It's back to step number one. So it's what would either the earlier version of you pick. What is that coworker, colleague, or someone who else that you're creating your profile around? Where do they want to hang out? Stay there. Don't just pick a platform because it's like the new hot platform.
Right.
Pick where you truly believe your person spends majority of their time, and go there. And I tell everyone, just try that for 90 days. If you feel like you're not getting the traction after 90 days, then you can pivot, but at least commit and show up 100% for those 90 days to see what's working and what's not.
Okay, I like this trying out for 90 days. I also like going back to what you said before about TikTok, and you stayed the course in terms of staying with Instagram, but you're on trend. One thing I love about, I tell everyone to go to your Instagram account, because if you are learning how to build an audience with Instagram, like Lisa's your person, because you're on trend. Like you're not trendy, but you use the trends to your advantage. And I think instead of being focused on every shiny object, right? Being allured by everything like that, stick with what you know, but just be on trend. Do you agree with that?
Hands down.
Okay.
Hands down. And first of all, thanks for the compliment. So
Always.
appreciate that. And then yeah, no, that's what made it easier for me to jump on Reels, because I wasn't trying to juggle all the platforms.
Okay, perfect. I could talk to you for hours, like I said before. I want to wrap this up though, because if you're listening right now, Lisa's got two beautiful babies under the age of 2. She just gave birth to Izzy. Like, you have the most gorgeous girls ever.
Thank
Please
you.
follow her on Instagram so you could see these beautiful children. You'd mentioned bandwidth. How do you get things done? Like you have a job, you have a thriving online marketing company, you have 2 little girls. Like, where do you find the time?
It's crazy, and it's always busy, yes. But as you can hopefully hear through the phone right now, is that I'm still smiling, and it's because
Yeah.
call it batching time or batching tasks. I am really rigid when it comes to I am blocking X time to focus on X project, so that way I free up my space to be with my family. And it's a balance, but it's something that I'm really, really big on, because if you try spending hours upon hours on all the things, you'll literally burn yourself out.
And where does your course creation business fit in overall with your priorities, and how do you make time for that?
So what I love is that once you and I were able to work together and I actually created my course from start to finish, I then was able to leverage that from a content piece. So I knew exactly who I was speaking to. I
Mhm.
made sure that my course was coming real with my content pillars. And now all I'm doing is updating my course modules every so often. And I would honestly say maybe every 6 months,
It's
based
great.
off the feedback I'm getting from my audience, because I'm literally just I have my content pillars on repeat, which flow nicely into the binge worthy content method. So it doesn't feel like I am doing a lot of work. It's twice a year that I'm probably sitting down for about like 3 hours to update a module, record it, and re-upload it into Kajabi. It is that quick because
That's
I'm
great.
that intentional with that. Yeah, my
So
time.
yeah, it's an evolution. I talk about this a lot too. Once you've built it out once, you just see what your students need and what they want. You add that module, you add that bonus, and it kind of evolves, just like we've talked about your client profile evolves, right? Just like your platform is going to evolve. So that's awesome. I love that you can focus on that every 6 months. It's great.
And I just want to add one thing that was really cool, because I got this message from one of my existing students who's been with me in the course for now over a year. And she's like, hey, one of the reasons why I still follow you is because I get the alerts when the course has been updated. And she's like, that's something I don't see often. And she's like, it makes me really appreciate you, because I follow you on Instagram, but then I get that alert every 6 months that, oh, the course is updated and there's this new PDF. And she's like, I literally rewatch it as if I'm watching it for the first time, but you make it feel like it's a new series, a
Uh,
new episode. And I'm like, I just got goosebumps. And that's such a cool feeling, because I'm not spending, again, hours upon hours with a new idea of a new course. This is something I've been giving to my audience since early 2019.
yeah, That's great. Oh, love getting feedback like that. That's so awesome. Okay, before I leave you, you've got an opportunity for us to learn from you about how to grow our Instagram, right? Tell us about that.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
yes. So the week of Thanksgiving, I am kicking off a 3-day challenge called How to Improve Your IG Engagement.
Okay.
And the cool part is you do not have to opt into Facebook group. There are no workbooks. There are no videos that you have to watch. You literally are on my account. I'm giving you a tip Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday that you're going to be able to implement within less than 5 minutes and grow your IG account. It's going to be fabulous.
Okay, give us your IG account so we can make sure to follow it and do this
It,
challenge.
it's at the Corporate Side Hustler.
Corporate Side Hustler. We'll put that in the show notes. Check it out. I love that you're making it easy peasy for us, right? Sometimes I think we get caught up with challenges or we don't do the homework and we feel like we're already behind. So, but we just show up, we watch you, we learn a little bit, we can grow our accounts in the process. Love it.
Exactly. Exactly.
That sounds great. Thanks so much for being on. You will be back because, I just love you. So thanks for taking the time. I know you're so busy right now.
Thanks for having me. It's been fun.
What did you think of Lisa? Is she not a total inspiration and so knowledgeable? If you're interested in growing your Instagram, check out Lisa's challenge at the Corporate Side Hustler. And also see what content she posts there, how she connects with her ideal client. I learn something every time I check out her stories and feed, and now her reels. I'll see you next week. Please rate and review this episode, especially if you're listening on iTunes, and then subscribe. I don't want you to miss one course creation morsel. Until then, go create, be you and be brilliant, and get it done.